Hello YouTube, this is that BMX guy, and this is kind of the Nikko Hurricane Project Part 3. So here's the car lately. I really haven't messed with it too much since last time. Recently I actually took the receiver out because I needed it for my XV01, but one project I kind of changed with it is I lowered the box inside so I can get that Tekin Titan in there to sit lower. I wanted to use these heat sinks. It has the new motor in there. It is one of these Tamiya Type 380 Sportsy motors. I'm not really a big fan of it. It was actually, I think, a mistake. So we have this is the motor that was in it. Now, the motor that was in it, it was able to use both speeds. There's high and low. The way it is right now, it's kind of high and neutral, like there's nothing. Let's assume I didn't just pull the gear off the motor. But all I have is high right now. And I don't really like high because it just seems to make the motor scream a little bit. In a sense, like once it gets up to speed, it's there, but it doesn't have any power to get there. So right now, this is on standstill. I had to use the receiver in the other car, so it's kind of not usable at the moment. I may change the Tekin Titan to an older speed controller closer to the 1988, and maybe an old Tekin receiver is AM, just because I kind of want the car more to around 1988. Then this motor may go back in. As you notice, there's a heatsink on this motor, and I didn't use it there because I had to actually sacrifice a motor off a different car to get that metal plate to work with this motor. Yeah, but this is doing fine. This video is more of a show and tell on other cars that I have. So we have the collection. This is a matter of the box opening and staying open. So I only have, this is the remote that I was using with the blue car with its original PCB. So we have the Lobo X4 Racer, which is basically the same car. This is my recent acquisition. This, even if it doesn't work, I can get it to work. It probably just needs to be resoldered on the board, but this is actually a Sears car. It doesn't seem like anything's broken. A little beat up right there. No, I think it's fine. This car is still like brand new. I just had to clean it. I didn't get the chance to clean it or anything. But this is basically the car I wanted for Christmas. That's why I wanted this in particular one. Or maybe I'll pause it for a second. Okay, so with them out of the box, it's a little easier to look at them. Yeah, I only have the Nikko controllers, but this 49 Nikko controller still works with the silver. It still runs, as far as I know. The last time I checked, this is the 27 controller that I found by itself, and I bought it for the red one. The red one isn't the slowest. Like the video kind of slows down, show slow it was with a NiCad battery, but you know, with a nickel metal hydride battery, it wasn't too bad. It still has 2 gears, among other things. The thing I modified was I added there's axle things to both this one and that one to make it so I can service the gearbox. Because I wanted to make sure the gears were good. But this one still has its original wiring, original motor, even with the sticker. You'll see this says beware of heated motor radiator. Is that the same as on these ones? Yeah. So this one, yeah, the Sears ones, they're a little bit more snazzier looking. They got the chrome rims. The stickers are very simple. There's like, all you see is stripes. When it looks like there's kind of like racing off-roader on the Nikko cars. They try to make it look more racy. But what happened is that I found this one with another one that was missing its bumper. And the one that was missing its bumper was like brand new. So I kind of put the bumper on the brand new one. And the other one I used for parts for that car. In particular, the chassis. Maybe the gearbox. No, actually I don't think I used the gearbox. But I definitely used the chassis of the other Lobo Magnum that was blue for that situation. But yeah, that guy still works. It's like brand new. And that guy seems to be brand new too. And that still works. They just don't have their Sears controller because their controller said Sears right here. Because I had one of these that I traded from a kid in the neighborhood, and it did say Sears. After a while, the click went away, like a click broke inside. These still have their click working. But yeah, that's pretty cool how they figured out a way to make it have that in there. So yeah, this is kind of the collection of the Hurricanes. Okay, I was interrupted, so let's try it again. So here is the spare parts. This is all spare parts. So we have another Lobo Magnum body. That the idea is to find stickers like on this one to put on there, because this body is like cracked right there. It's also kind of cracked somewhere right there. And I'd just rather have, like, you know, a restoration situation kind of thing. Lately it seems like whenever you see these on eBay, they're kind of pricey. This is the radio that actually came with the red one. It's 27, just like on the red one, but it's like, it's one of them tiny ones that used to come with, like, what was that car? The Turbo Panther? It's kind of like that radio. Or what the Sears Lobo 2 came with, but it still said Sears on the Lobo one. As you see, there's a full set of wheels that are off of that logo. Here are front suspension components that are pretty much brand new. I tried selling this stuff on eBay and nobody was buying them. Like, there's somebody selling them in Italy, but obviously, like, nobody wants to buy them. There's no point even trying to sell them. Got the drive shafts for the car. This bag right here is basically the full gearbox with the bumper. And what I was planning to do with the gearbox is maybe modify it to work with a bigger motor, because that's just easier, just to use a whole different gearbox as the source of it. If I can get it out of there. But the gearbox it uses the shafts that come out of it right in those holes. The gears are hanging out in there. There are axle studs that come off of here, and you know, the motor would go right here with the heat sink sticking out somewhere. I'm not even sure how. It must just come out the bottom right here. But yeah, I got the whole gearbox. I was thinking maybe I can trim this off like I tried doing before and just making the metal plate using an adapter, we have one of these I have one of these Tamiya 380 to 540 motor adapters. I believe you can probably use it either way, but I was thinking you would try and use that with the metal plate to get the 540 to go on that gearbox. As long as like I use a 12-2 sprocket, it should fit. So yeah, that was just one idea. I had that idea years ago. What I wouldn't mind is putting ball bearings in the gears, but they're not very easy to bearings per se to use. This bag here has the front 4-wheel drive 90-degree axles. There's the drive shafts that are right there would go into these, and then these are the output to the front wheels. We also got the front axle knuckles and hub holders and stuff like that, and the bushings and drive shafts, and even like the relay steering arm is in there. This is extra pieces. These are actually, yeah, these are just collars that, because they originally just had these bushings pressed onto the end of the axle, and what I did is I just used these clamping collars instead to remove one end and put these in place. That way I can take the gearbox apart and replace the pieces, or replace the whole thing. This is the front arms again, and here is a PCB. This is the 27 megahertz PCB and front relay assembly that would go into that blue Lobo Magnum. That's all fully working. I don't know. I was gonna try putting it on eBay, but then yeah, nobody wants to buy these things, so this is here. In this bag, it just has odds and ends. There's an axle that came off of it's called the Radio Shack Red Arrow, and that's what I used to use in the late 90s when I had the car. I used that axle in the back with like rubber bushings like so, and because I took the gearbox apart and serviced it. But that axle actually isn't too bad to use as a replacement for the press rivet axle that normally comes on. That's the axle to that gearbox that's right here. It's in there. There's also Robinson Racing 12-2 sprocket. These are the bushings that were in both the cars. The bushings that were in the blue one were definitely more wore out than the ones that are in the 27 Lobo Magnum right there. But they're in there. The axles are brand new for the rear gearbox that are in there. There's a couple of bushings. This is the actual chassis that was used for that body. I didn't take it apart. I didn't even modify it. I didn't do anything to that car. So this is the original chassis to the Blue Hurricane. It is still a fully functioning chassis. It still has its circuit board, the 49 megahertz circuit board, and its servo. Now I can reassemble it with all those newer parts, and I just didn't do that. I don't know. But I know this one works. It was working in the one video. There's nothing wrong with it. I just didn't want to destroy it to make it work with radio gear or hobby gear.
But yeah, these wheels and tires are kind of brand new. They're the wheels that would work on the car easily. I was looking for something to change it to, like maybe something newer. But the rear hubs are completely different from everyone else's. And the front hubs are definitely different. So there's nothing really defined that works with this. And the tires are a different diameter than every other tire out there too. So since it's four-wheel drive, they got to be the same height, or the car will not drive too good. Not like it drives that great anyway, but yeah, everything in here is all my spare parts. So yeah, if you look at the video and you see you need any of this stuff, maybe I can sell it, but I think the only thing it probably would sell is this radio and maybe, you know, the parts. But I don't have a whole car as a spare. Like, I don't think I want to get rid of any of these cars at all. Anyway, this is part 3 of Nikko Hurricane Project, which kind of shows all my spare parts. Maybe the next video will have me running that Nikko Hurricane again. I don't know. I just don't know when the next video will be. Anyway, thanks for watching.